WBBC Chicago. Yeah. 77.3, your hottest digital station. Now in digital HD sound.
What's going on, people out there in radio land? It's the one and only DJ Malone, man. Chicago 77.3, the best place to be at on any day. Really, how you guys doing? Houston, you done did it again. We're not doing this year. We're not even into June yet, and we're into about 98, 100. We're not doing that this year. Please and thank you. We need to stop that. With all that being said, man, I got a hard ass artist coming through right now, man, and I really want you guys to really get in tune with him and everything. I think you guys and you guys know we do play a classic of people around here, man. But I really want to kind of go back into the basis of artistry right here, and I really think this guy embodies that. Mr. Richard Turner, man, what's going on?
Yes, sir. How you doing? Great.
How you feeling, man?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
Man, like I told you before, trying to make $1 into $1 million. But you said something real cool that I really like. Can you tell me that one more time?
Yeah, you should be trying to get $1 from 1 million people.
That's even better. That's even better. I like that. Well, I'm gonna have to use that. Man. So, other than that, man, where you at right now, man? How you feeling?
I'm in Los Angeles, California.
Okay, cool, man. How born and raised there, or where we at?
Born and raised.
Okay, that's what's up, man.
Yes,
so
sir.
What always been West Coast, never moved or anything like that?
No, I've traveled all over and been in places for a period of time, but basically, no, this has always been my base.
Okay, that's what's up. Let's go into a time machine. When did your love for music start?
I always tell people my love for music started in my mama's stomach when I used to tickle her.
I like that.
No, but basically when I was about 8.
Okay.
About 8 years of age.
As far as inspiration wise, who were you listening to? Who were some of your people that you really enjoy?
When I was 8? No. Some of the people that I really listen to and that I enjoy, I have a list that I can start in order. I would say Art Tatum.
Okay.
Nat King Cole as a piano player, not as a singer.
Okay.
And Oscar Peterson.
Okay.
And then coming up to date, Joe Sample, of course, George Duke, Ramsey Lewis, all the more current, Bobby Lau, all the more current keyboard players.
I find this very interesting, man, because you come from an era where composers were more, the best of better words, more credited than they are today. Not saying that they're not, but it's just back then I just felt like when you thought of a soundtrack or a score or something like that, you first think of the composer or the arranger of the said track or whatever. Let me ask you this: how do you feel that has either changed or has it been the same for you coming from that era to now?
So you're asking in regards to, say your question one more time so I can be clear. So
do you think the composing, like people making the tracks and stuff, do you think that has changed from today from yesterday?
Yes, because of technology. Technology has changed even the way composers compose. So I think it's a big change, and I think I went through the process. I was in the middle of that change.
Okay, I respect that
for writers and for composers.
I think too I think it's a cool change, but I just feel like sometimes you got to go back to the basics and everything, man.
Yeah, you still drawing from, the period before, and it's because of the culture, the change of culture and the change of, it's just like clothing that's changing, hairstyle changes. Right. So everything is changing. You adapt to whatever the culture is musically.
I also think like how people have changed, like even just whenever I was coming up, you had to have like a one seat, You had to have like a body of work and everything. Let me ask you this, and just a side note, I'll do my research on you. You used to work at Capitol, um,
My
Capitol
dad
Records.
used to work at Capitol Records.
Okay, so your dad did. Okay, so
Yes.
let me ask you this, again, and I'm pretty sure he kind of embodied that into you. Do you think in going into it, it's like anybody could just have a song at any given time and just say, "Hey, I'm here," versus to when whenever you go into these record labels or these music execs, you have to have a lineup for you. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like I said, like with the one seed and everything. Do you think that has changed in how it is right now?
I think the internet has changed that to the point where more people can view and listen, and more people can tap into you, and you're not even connected with a record label or anything, or connected to even music in that sense. It's just about now what people like and what they prefer, what their
Mm,
preferences are. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for an artist, because somebody can come up with a concept or an ideal, and they can post it, and before you know it, people like it.
yeah. But I also think you lose the artist development part.
Correct.
Um,
That's a big part.
and, and I think you lose. And I'm a big component on bring back the focus groups, man. And I really enjoyed that time because you really got the hands-on look from being like, okay, this is how you started out from here to there and there. And I just don't think artist development is preached as much.
Yeah, that's mentoring is very important. It's no different than a doctor, a lawyer, or any of those type of occupations where a football team, basketball team, you're going to have trainers, you're going to have people that's going to work on certain aspects or certain areas of your work. And I think, yeah, that's lost in a big way because you can just do it without even the knowledge.
Yeah, that's real. That's real though, man. Let's dive back into you. So when did you know, hey, I think I have something here. I think I have a talent here.
Around It was around 8, 9, 10, in that range. At elementary school, it was a talent show, and I entered in the talent show, and my folks didn't even know I entered into it. And I played bongos. I did a bongo solo, like,
Oh wow.
because I had some bongos at the house. So I got on stage and I did bongos.
Oh wow.
And because I was so young, I think I was 8 or 9,
Well,
and everybody was like, "Yay, yay, yay!" And then I did this talent show a year later, a couple of years later, and I played "Lean on Me," and I
okay.
had learned that at the church upstairs. Me and the pastor's son. My dad was the minister of music, so
Okay.
we always at rehearsal, and I learned that upstairs. We were upstairs learning secular music, doing
Yeah.
rehearsal.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Did you learn how to like? Were you in choir coming up, or it just
The
kind of
church
came?
choir, yes.
Okay.
Yes, church choir. And actually, I was in band. They would make us, that was when they had instruments in the school. So you had to pick an instrument. I think I had the clarinet or something like that. I didn't really take any interest in it.
Yeah.
Where I really took interest was once I did that talent show playing the piano, playing Lean On Me.
Okay. What was that when that spark came about? Was it just on like? Was it the feeling like of just being on stage? Was it just whatever you felt musically? What do you think that spark came from?
The spark came from, prior to that, I was still singing in church. I was leading songs with my dad and stuff. And I'm always at a rehearsal. I'm always with my dad. So, he's working at a church, and he's always got records coming home. So I'm always listening, you know. So
Okay.
it's always music around me.
I like that, man. That's what's up. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
When now tell me about the first record that you ever recorded. Tell me about your first experience in a
So
recording.
by the time I turned 13, my dad had a singing group, and he's always had that singing group, and he decided to do a recording. And at by the time I was 13, I had written a couple of songs.
Okay.
My dad was like, yeah, you wrote these songs and we can put them on the record, but you're gonna have to change them and make them more, because they were kind
Right.
of contemporary.
Okay.
And I said,
Okay.
well, I don't want to change them. And so we worked it out, and he did those. He did two of my songs on his record, and we
Wow.
recorded at Capitol Records, of course, because he worked there. So that
That's
was a
what's up,
perk.
man. Okay. Um, the feeling of your first time. I remember the first time I did radio and just the feeling of it. The rush of it. Do you still have those butterfly feelings as of right now?
Yes, all the time,
That's what's
because
up.
it's like it's an excitement, like it's unfinished. It's always unfinished business for me.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Because even after, like, let's say I do a event, I go back. A lot of people don't like listening to themselves. I go back and listen to myself. Okay, what could I have done better?
Mm,
What? Oh, I need to keep that,
yeah.
which helps me to create a voice, and
That's
create
real.
my voice. Because now, if you do something over and over again, then people recognize you for doing that. Okay, he's gonna do that right there. Oh yeah, he's gonna,
Kind of
just
like a
like a
signature.
comedian. Yeah, correct. Yeah, signatures. So I find out, what is my voice? Who am I? What do I do most often? When I don't know something, what do I run to?
Real.
You're gonna run to
And
your comfort zone all the time.
that's real though. I think though too it's fascinating when I hear stories like that because in a sense you really have to be in tune with your outer self if I may.
That's
Um be,
good.
because because you really have to see it from okay, from this standpoint, I'm seeing myself, but I also understand I got to see it from how do I get this better? How do I get to this
Right.
range from that range? So that's pretty good that you did that.
Yeah, and especially like if someone say, hey, you ought to try listening to so and so, and then try to incorporate that. Okay, all right.
Real.
Or they'll say, hey, I hear so and so in you, and I'm going like, well, who is that? And so I'll go listen to him, so I can say, oh, so and so was doing that in 1950 58.
Yeah.
I wasn't even born. So this way, also, who was doing it before you,
Real.
and because we all are either borrowing or either we are learning from what has already happened. It's not going to be too much of a new things coming up.
Yeah.
I can create my voice like a writer or like a person that's pulling from information.
That's real. Let me ask you this: writing your songs, and I know everybody has their process. How is your process on writing?
Usually, my process on writing starts most of the times with, I would say, um, a thought
Okay.
or a concept.
Okay.
Let's say the trees are blowing. Okay. So what can I do to make that sound
Mm.
or make people feel that? So when I tell the story, hey, I was uh I was in Palm Springs and the trees and the palms were blowing. Uh so when they use their imagination, they can hear it in the music.
Real. Real. I
Yeah.
like that. I like that, man. That's what's up. I think too is that I think writing comes from not just from pain, but writing comes from experiences, life experiences and everything. And as you get older, you have more life experiences and everything. Um
Correct.
what's been a song near and dear to your heart that you wrote in so far?
Too much.
Mm.
I
Why
would
is that?
say too much. And the song that uh Forever.
Okay.
That's another one.
Were they
It's so many.
what I guess let me ask you this with the forever one, what state of mind were you in at that time? Like where were you at in life at that point?
I was actually in a good place. Um, you know what? The Forever, I kind of wrote it with a partner of mine. And the reason why it was a good place because I was in a good place because forever it depends on where you are. If you're in love and you want it to last forever, that's fine. If you on a spiritual base, you know, eternal life, you want that to be forever. You know, so it depends on your state of mind. So at that time, I was in a good place and a good state of mind.
Oh,
You know, I was comfortable and in a good state.
that's what's up. I like that, man. I like that. So we got these two tracks and everything, man, and
Yes.
we're gonna talk about it and play them and stuff. Let's go. Let's dive into Hey Lady first. Let's talk about that. Hey Lady, how what's going on with that?
So that one was written when I was in my latter years of college.
Okay.
And you know, I used to do this run all the time, and everybody said, "Hey, man," you know, it became a signature run,
Okay.
and I found myself hearing myself playing it all the time, and I said, "Okay, I got to create a song out of that because everybody keeps saying, 'Hey, man, you did that run again. Show me
Yeah.
that run,' you know." And so I said, "Okay, let me create a song and build around it." And for years, I didn't play the song a lot because you know you're asking people to learn the lick, and if it doesn't come out right, is you know it's kind of
Right.
your baby. So uh, after working with Eric Darius about 18 years, at some point in the latter part of those 18 years, I said, "Hey man, you why don't you play this song? I got this line that I know you can play because
Yeah.
he's an extraordinary saxophone player."
Wow.
And he came in and one time he just played it and he ate it up. So I was like, okay, good. Someone that can execute it other than me.
Yeah.
You know, because it's okay to learn lines and stuff, but when you learn somebody's line, or it's like you're trying to mimic somebody's voice,
I get that. I
and the
get that.
articulation may not be right, or you know.
Let me
So
ask you. Oh, I'm sorry. Let
no,
me
go
ask
ahead.
you. Let me ask you this. Whenever, like, because I always want to ask artists about this, and and it's not necessarily like they're trying to imitate you or to mock you or anything, but it like you said, it is near and dear to your heart. Like it is, this is your baby. So
Right.
how are you with like collaborations and everything?
Well, I love collaborating. That's probably one of my favorite thing to do because it becomes a conversation.
Mm,
And it's not a one-way conversation. It's like a one-way relationship. You don't want to be in a one-way relationship. You want to
I
be in a
agree.
conversation and then allow your audience to join in on that conversation.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
what's up. That's what's up. I like that analogy. Let's talk about grooving with the cats, man. Let's talk about that.
Grooving with the Cats. Grooving with the Cats came about when you know, we was with Eric Darius and we had a pretty large band. I think we had three horns or two horns and a 4 or 5 piece rhythm section, two keyboard players, guitar, drums, and percussion. So it was a really big band.
Okay.
And we were doing Fantasy Springs, you know, of course, Trump's old hotel. We had a situation there and we was doing sound check. And you know how the musicians are noodling around and play around. So the guitar player, uh, he did this little riff and he was doing this little riff. And the bass player said, "Hey, do that again." And so then the bass player joined in, say, playing with them. And then before you know it, the rest of the band was getting up playing. I said, "You guys do that again." And then Eric came on stage. He was playing something. And I said, "I'm going to record." And I recorded it. And I said, "That's a song right there." It
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, man, that, you know, that we just fooling around." I said, "Okay." And so I think that Sunday, the same band that was playing for Eric was the same band that played at church with me.
Okay.
So
Okay.
after church, I said, "Hey, everybody to the studio. We're going to record what we played yesterday."
Yeah.
We went straight to the studio, recorded it, and then I kept it for at least 4 or 5 years and then developed it. And then that's how that came about. And
That's
then we
what's up.
named it Groovin' with the Cats because everybody kind of contribute to it.
That's what's up, man. I like that. That's a cool story. That's what's up. Now, are these off of a album or EP or just the singles right now?
The singles right now that will probably turn into an album probably by, I'm hoping by the end of the summer.
Okay. And how many tracks on the album do we know yet?
It'll be 9 to 10.
Okay, that's a good space. I tell people don't go more than 13.
No,
It's just because we're just not in that day of age anymore
no, not no
where
more.
it's like people will sit down like now easy what you said 9 to 10 and that's good right there, man.
Right.
So,
I mean, I'm gonna do enough in order if I had to do a show with a 9 songs, then I can do a show with 9 songs,
yeah,
9 or 8 songs. So it's basically I want the album to kind of just follow suit with the performance.
real. Now, are you keen to like social media and how like it everything is like right now? Because I'm still learning it. So
Man,
it's a beast. So
it is.
I how are you able to deal with it, man? Like do you have somebody
Well,
working for
I
you on that level or what?
I do have I have I'm with Wealth Nation right now.
Okay.
So they are really helping me out. I am not anything with music, I'm fine. Anything with anything else, I'm not.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the social media. I have like my co-host. She'll help me and everything, and my daughter still help me. But DJing radio solid. Any when it comes down to that social media stuff, it's just I'm not good for it, man.
Right.
I'm just not.
It's a whole nother technology there.
It definitely is. What do you do in your spare time, man?
In my spare time, when I have spare times, I I try to just spend it with my wife, watching TV, trying to go somewhere and just relax and try not to answer the phone.
That's real.
Uh, I'm actually a person that love to like stay in the background, but that hasn't happened. I'm more out front. So when I do get an opportunity, I just kind of like, you know, kind of not be around people.
I feel you on that. I DJ so much in the clubs. Whenever I'm off, I don't want to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like
You
I just
definitely don't
want
want to go to the clubs, right?
no, I don't. And it's even crazier because it's like I don't like loud music in the house.
What?
Um, and it's crazy because like when I DJ, it's loud music all the time. But because I DJ so frequently, like when I get home, I just don't want to hear that.
Wow.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
That is.
I mean, and not like, oh yeah, I won't trip out like if I hear the TV or anything, but it's just like another speaker blaring. Like I tell my daughter, like turn that down or get some headphones. Like I don't need to hear that.
Right, right.
So, um, but I still love DJing. It's always been
Okay.
my passion and everything, man. So, um,
That's great.
how are you doing mentally?
Meaning?
Like mentally, like how are you in your mind? Like are you good? Like as far as like like self in self
Oh,
worth.
self-care? I'm
Yeah,
I'm I'm good. I'm good. I do have a strong spiritual base.
that's what's up.
So, that's been with me all my life, and I'm really strong in that area.
That's what's up, man.
So that gives me a lot of wisdom and a lot of understanding
That's what's up. I like that.
and a lot of perception.
I like that. That's what's up,
Yes.
man. Now let me. If you could perform anywhere, where would it be at and why?
If I could perform anywhere, I would say uh, Asian Dome
Okay.
in Japan. That was one place that somebody that I went over with that was singing with me, she got a chance to perform there. I didn't, they called her to sing there, but that was a really unique place.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
what's up.
It's a huge dorm, huge arena.
Was the acoustics real good or like
I mean, the sound was unbelievable to be such a huge place,
wow,
you know.
that's what's up, man. That's what's up. I like venues like that, man. I'm geeky for stuff
Yes,
like that.
yes,
Like my girl gets annoyed by it, but I'm just real geeky for stuff like that.
yeah.
So that's what's
If
up. If you could, well, not perform, but you could work with anybody, where would it be at and why?
I can work with anybody, that's a good question.
And doesn't have to be an artist. It could be a producer. It could be a composer. Anybody that you feel.
At this time, if I could work with anybody, it probably would be Herbie Hancock.
Okay.
And reason being is because his music has you know, covered many years. He
Right.
changes with the time. Prior to that, Quincy changed with the time, but now Herbie Hancock is kind of there.
Right.
He can
Right.
do the movies, he can do the jazz, he can do pop, he can do the R&B, and so he's kind of covering a wide range of
Right.
time.
Right. I like that. I hope that works out for you, man. I really
Yeah,
do.
so that
What
would be a
I think that'd be.
lot to learn. Yes,
I think that'd be a dope situation though. I really do.
yes.
Let me ask you this: in the next 3 years, where do you hope to see yourself?
I hope to see myself on more platforms and in a household name.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
I
a
believe
household
that.
name where, you know, commercials, you know, are you hearing the songs on a commercial or hear the songs, you know? Oh, that's all right. When somebody hear the music, they go, "Oh, that's Richard playing."
Yeah. Put that in the universe, man. Put that out there.
Yes, it's out there.
Yeah.
You just
Cause I,
help me put it out there.
yeah, because you one thing I like about you, Richard, man, you have a good soul. Like you're good. I can
Man,
tell you're a good
thank you.
person,
I
man. So
appreciate that, man. Appreciate
so
that.
I like good energy. So definitely big ups to you. Um, where can the people find you at? Everywhere, social media, everything.
So yeah, uh, you remember we said this was the area.
Yeah.
So yes, I am. I'm on Facebook. I have a website, richardturnerjr.com,
Okay.
and you can catch me on Instagram and on TikTok.
Hey.
I'm
Okay.
trying to get it together here.
Hey, he said on TikTok. Hey, I'm on everything. You can't miss
So,
me.
so I don't know how to work them very well, but 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 I'm on them.
Hey, at least you're on them. That's good for what my co-host would say. That's good for SEO. That's it's good. That's good for
Right.
that.
I
So,
hear you,
I really do appreciate this, Richard. You coming through and everything
man. I
else like
appreciate
that.
you.
Where's the? Are you performing anywhere coming up anytime soon, or what's
Uh,
going on?
yes, actually coming up next Friday, the 6th, June 6th, I'm at a place called The View in Torrance, California.
Okay,
Uh, and then every Thursday, I perform at Vicky's of Santa Fe in Indian Wells in California.
okay,
So I have like a residency there. And then I have my scholarship coming up like in September, maybe the third week in September.
okay, okay.
And
That's
I
what's
get
up.
spot dates here and there with different artists and different people. But as far as the goal, I think, is for me to be able to play with my name on the bill,
Okay.
not necessarily playing, with
Yeah,
different artists. Still doing that, but more me on the bill.
I like that, man. With the two singles, are there videos out for them right now, or just
Not yet.
okay?
Not yet. That's something my one of my partners is talking about trying to start looking at doing a video with the songs.
I think so. Um, and I understand it because you always want a video, but I do get where like a video could help it grow with legs and everything, especially with
Visual.
TikTok. Yeah, because we live in a visual world, so I definitely understand that.
Yes. Yes.
So
Gotcha.
I'm gonna be looking out for Rich. I really am. I really do
All right.
appreciate this. Um, before you go, I always ask artists if they could do a drop for me. You're gonna do a shout out. You're gonna say
Okay.
your name, and I'm rocking with DJ Malone.
All right.
Go ahead.
Hey, people. Here, my name is Richard Turner Jr., known as 88 Fingers, and I'm rocking with DJ Malone.
Gang, explosions, fireworks, everything in between, man. Make sure you guys run his analytics up, man. It's out right now. Everything else like that. Make sure you guys go check out all the singles and everything else like that. It's the one and only DJ Malone, Chicago 77.3, the best place to be at on Any Day Radio. We out. Wow.
Yes, sir.
We lit live. This is WBBC Chicago. 77.3, your hottest digital station.
Now in digital HD sound.